the Roosters with Attitudes podcast, RWA for short podcast. And here I am, Roscoe Rooster with Waldo.
Oh, you were sounding like Dusty Rhodes there for a minute. I thought I was on here with Dusty there for a second.
That got kind of scary, didn't
Somebody dug him up and put me on a podcast.
That's right.
And I'd love that.
I like it. But yes, we've talked about this for how long, Waldo?
Oh Lord, a long time.
Year and a half.
Yeah, we've been trying, and of course both of us staying so busy all the time. You with ball season,
yes,
finally coming to an end,
yes,
and really to an end, but that's a whole other story.
Right. Right. Oh yeah. And I mean, it was one of those seasons that it was short, but it felt long. But that's what it happens when you have.
It's like your first marriage.
Exactly. Exactly. That's a way to sum it up.
I can't comment on my marriage. My wife's in the other room. So.
Well, yeah, but it's one of those married 5.5 years and it felt like 17. But,
yeah. It's like a Roman Reigns match. Anyway.
Yeah. Exactly.
But welcome, world, to if you enjoy this kind of very tasteful banter, then you've came to the right place.
That's right. We'll wing ex-wife jokes as much as we can.
We will.
That TV station cut off a couple of my ex-wife jokes. I was watching when I was on national television, and they asked me something, and I threw an ex-wife joke, and they cut it out. I couldn't believe it.
Oh, I remember that show. Yeah, how dare them?
I know.
Those dirt bags with taste and stuff like that. What's wrong with them? But we do thank all of you for tuning in to our very first episode. Many of you we probably know, and we have been telling you for a long time that we're going to be doing this, and we hope that you do find some enjoyment out of what Roscoe and I will be doing here on the RWA podcast. We're going to be talking about things like sports. We both love sports. You being a Hall of Fame sports person.
There you go. Yeah.
So that's important. We'll be, of course, talking about our love of professional wrestling because,
it's an every weekend thing anymore.
Oh, my gosh. I feel like it's an everyday thing in my life right now. Vince, you're killing me. Gosh, just give me less content. Oh my gosh, between the and here's the thing, WWE's not even really my favorite wrestling, and I swear to you, WWE takes up most of my life.
That's the sad part.
Yeah, I feel like it's this obligation that anyway. And then of course we'll be talking about whatever else we decide we want to talk about. Who knows, that could be anything from, movies to TV shows to reminiscing old times. Who knows about us?
And boy, I do a lot of reminiscing.
I do too. I do too.
I've already talked your ear off earlier today, but...
No, it's all good. It's all good. As long as we don't start like that Joey Morton reminiscing where we tell people the same story 15 times, we'll be all right.
I mean, how many times did he tag with Moses?
I don't know, but I feel like I've lived Joey's career at this point, and I really hope he's listening to this and listening to every word I'm saying about him right now, but that's another story.
Might have to tag him.
Something like that. So what you can expect from us, of course, are us talking about these, kinds of topics, sports, wrestling, whatever else. And hopefully we will be releasing new content the second and fourth of a week of every month. We haven't got a day pinned down just yet. Roscoe is also our guy that does the editing stuff, and he has one busy schedule. So we'll be rolling more and more information out as we go. Very soon we'll have a Facebook page set up. By the time you're listening to this, you can probably search for Roosters with Attitude podcast and find something very close to us and our content. We'll be doing that. Also on YouTube, Roscoe will be setting things up over there for us. And of course, we'll as we go along, we'll be giving you our contact information, how you can contact each of us. And as the weeks progress, we'll have show information and that sort of thing for contact, so you can get a hold of us and let us know what's going on. We may give out Roscoe's personal mail at home if you want to snail mail us. I don't know. We'll see. Or maybe not.
I do have P.O. Box now.
Oh, hey, cool.
So that's even better.
Yeah, we might want to keep that on the down low, though.
Oh, yeah.
We don't want the chick after us.
It's one of those deals that I had P.O. Box there one time for people who give me Christmas cards, so I didn't want anybody to know where I lived.
You get Christmas cards?
Yeah.
People just don't like me. I don't know why. Well, maybe you do. I don't know.
I used to steal my little black book like somebody else did. sending all my baseball coaches that year.
Yeah, well, there you go. Whatever happened. And as we're getting kicked off here, before we get started, a couple of things that we were talking about earlier, we're thinking about is, of course, with both of us, with our love of wrestling, we need to want to send our thoughts and prayers out to the Nature Boy Ric Flair as he's healing up from what he's had going on down there.
I think if something ever happened, they dropped a nuclear bomb, you probably have cockroaches and Ric Flair left.
That's right, Ric Flair.
Cher.
Ric Flair. And the Rolling Stones.
And Rolling Stones.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you what. I'm not sure I want to be in a world that doesn't have Ric Flair, because if it weren't for Ric Flair, I probably wouldn't be sitting here talking about wrestling right now. He's in my opinion, the greatest world champion of all time, and I'm glad Rick kicked out at 2 on this one. Did you happen to see the video he put out?
The one with the shirt?
The interesting shirt?
Yeah, I did watch it.
Yeah, as we want to be a family-friendly show, we probably shouldn't say what the shirt said, but Flair's cutting better promos from his deathbed than a lot of these guys are with people writing them for him.
Roman Reigns?
Well, Roman and several other people, to be quite honest. These guys have people writing promos for them, and Rick's cutting better promos literally from his deathbed.
Yes, so, I agree.
So there's that. Another topic that's near and dear both of us, of course, what's going on in Florida right now with the hurricanes. Our thoughts and prayers with them as well. We actually just got to go to Florida together a few months ago for WrestleMania.
That's right.
It's a lot of fun. Of course, I know how much you love the state, and I got 2 trips there in the last year, and I've kind of fell in love with it too.
Oh yeah, because it's my home away from home, because I spent a lot of time in Florida. Of course, my association with the Tampa Bay Rays kept me there for a long time, and I spent over 100 days in the major leagues working in the equipment room for them, and being an equipment manager. And I mean, it was fun times down there. Of course, I missed the mountains when I was down there. A lot of palm trees, a lot of flatlands, but it's one of those places it's good to visit, but I don't know if I'd ever want to live back down there because of the situation like what's going on now. But. Yeah.
I always, even right now, I think about the 4 o'clock Florida rain. You always talk about that. And I'm telling you, I spent in 2000, this past year, I have spent, about 10 days in Florida altogether, something like that. Right. And there's truth to that.
I've had drive through some of those 4 o'clock Florida rains.
Me too. And if you think tolls are bad in West Virginia, go to Florida. Yeah. I drove from Orlando to the beach, and I thought I was going to have to take out a loan before I got back.
Yeah.
My gosh.
And it's bad when you go to the Welcome Center, and in their vending machine is a Florida pass card that you can buy, and they take it at the tolls. I think it's like $5 a card, and it's reloadable.
I just tried to tell how much we love Florida. Now we're burying Florida.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, you got to quit doing the burying place. I have people to bury right now. I'm looking at you, Eric Foster.
Yeah, literally. But no, I mean, like I said, Florida's always kind of been my second home. I've still got people down there that love and adore, and hoping they'll get through this, and like I said, have my home team down there. So
absolutely. I know a lot of our friends love the Orlando area, Universal, Disney, all that stuff, myself included. Of course, great trip. Like I said, great trip with you and your family down there this past April for WrestleMania. So wishing the best for Florida. I consider Florida my number 3 home. My first, of course, is here. Number 2 is Morgantown, my alma mater, and then number 3 is Florida. But speaking of Morgantown, it takes us right into our first topic this go around. As praise the Lord, football is back.
Yes,
thank God.
And the cooler weather, and the leaves are getting ready to change, and you're throwing the pigskin around.
Hey, that's right. I love it. My if anybody that knows me my wife absolutely loves the cold weather, so I'm not sure on that game plan. But she often reminds me, if I don't get the cold weather, I don't get my football. So
that's true.
So Tommy, since of course last weekend was college football kickoff weekend, this weekend was the NFL's kickoff weekend. Have you had a chance? I know you stay so busy. Have you had any chance to take in any of the pigskin being thrown around?
I watched a little bit of the Zone of Red this morning.
Ooh. The zone of red.
Yes.
Well, up over here, I don't have the zone of red.
Oh, my goodness. That's why I switched to the one network with the big satellite dish.
Ooh. For the zone of red.
For the zone of red.
Okay. Well, cool. See any exciting happenings this morning on the old red zone?
See, the Browns was getting whooped. Well, now, they wouldn't get whooped bad. It was like tied 7-7 with Pittsburgh. And then I seen who else? The Jets and Buffalo played a pretty good game today.
Well, when you're both that bad, it usually...
Well, yeah. It's like the Prince race.
Yeah. Well, for me, even though I do love the NFL, I'm more of a college guy myself. Right. I love college football. Of course, last weekend I lived through, like at this time last Sunday. We're recording this on Sunday. If you're listening, I was kind of in a deep depression as the beloved alma mater, West Virginia University, lost to my least favorite sports team out of any sport. In any sport. It doesn't matter what sport we're talking about, basketball, football, but it doesn't matter. I hate Virginia Tech.
Right.
Every weekend I have two favorite teams, the West Virginia Mountaineers and who's playing Virginia Tech. Yeah.
Hey, they played a tough game last week.
Yeah, I think one thing that I will say that I'm hopeful for my Mountaineers for is Will Greer, who transferred from another school that I know you stay on top of, the Florida Gators.
Chomp chomp.
Yeah, I'm hopeful for him, as I think he had a little bit of a shaky start in that first quarter last Sunday, but he seemed to turn it around pretty quickly. I guess when you haven't played in over 600 games, 600 days, not 600 games, it takes a toll on you. But he turned it around, and I'm hopeful for that. I think that if the offense could have performed at the level they did in the second half of that game, we could have had a different outcome. But I'm not crying over spilled milk, because I don't need nasty messages from people like Boris Petrov.
Yeah, I don't. The communist Virginia Tech.
Yeah. People think he's from Russia. He's really from Blacksburg.
Yeah,
they're all communists out there. Love our friends in Blacksburg.
Oh yeah, I used to bowl in Blacksburg.
Did you?
I bowled 3 years down there at New River Valley. Yeah.
I drove through one time. Very fast. Anyway, but then Jamie and I, we got to go this weekend up to Morgantown to see my Mountaineers play a very good game against East Carolina. And just a little bit of trivia for you. You know who is an alumnus of East Carolina that we're both a big fan of?
Yes, a guy that owns a company up north.
Up north. What is this, 1985? Up north?
Up north.
Hate to tell you, he's global now.
Well, yeah, he's global. But when your head office is in Connecticut and you try to act Connecticut.
Well, I hear if you ask him, he says he's a Southerner.
Right.
But
yeah.
Because he's from North Carolina, pal.
Yeah, North Carolina. Remember when he was giving away that money? And he was dialing North Carolina number.
Yes.
And he says, what famous WWE person came from North Carolina? And the guy said John Cena, and he about not giving no money.
Yeah. Oh, Vince loves it. Anyway, Vince McMahon graduated. He went to East Carolina. So one of the reasons I was excited to go to that game is I thought Vinnie Mac might be on the sideline, because I have seen him on the sideline when West Virginia's played East Carolina in the past.
Right.
So not that he would ever talk to me, make eye contact with me, spit on me or anything. But I still was hoping to run into Vinnie Mac and tell him that, I like to do commentary and you like to run cameras. And
yeah, I like to run cameras.
Yeah, I'm sure he would have told me to drop dead. But, hey, I could have said Vince McMahon told me to drop dead, and I'd be happy. As you know me, I'd be happy with that.
I was happy Kane called me a fat boy one time, too.
Hey.
Yeah.
I was happy. Wait a minute. I was going to say I was happy Steve Carino called me some names. But really, I'm about as famous as Steve Carino, so I guess it really doesn't matter. But anyway... so we went up, saw West Virginia play a very good game. The thing that worries me though about the team this season is the defense is very young, and even though we have a great defensive coordinator in Tony Gibson, they've got to get their act together a little bit, because they played overall a really great game, but against a very weak team. But Will Greer was on fire. He's just I can see why he was leading Florida to an undefeated season at the point while he was there. Because very good quarterback, and if he's got receivers that can catch the ball, he puts it exactly where it needs to be. So,
right.
So that's a good thing. But anyway, other than that, I mean, I've got just taken a little bit of other college football. I got to see a little bit of Ohio State and Oklahoma last night, and Oklahoma kind of put it on Ohio State. And at the end of the game, came out and planted their flag in the middle of Ohio State's logo on the field. And, making a statement, I guess.
Yeah, they're going to be tough. Oklahoma, they're tough every year.
Yeah, they're in the top 5 this year, so that could be. And they will. I'm not sure if they're coming to Morgantown or we're going there. But either way, that'll be a tough game. I can't remember what we did last year, but anyway. So college football's played off. Then of course this afternoon, you and I got to watch our beloved San Francisco 49ers together.
That was sad.
Yeah, we've basically became the Browns. we even have Brian Hoyer. We even have their quarterback.
Yeah, that's the sad part. But I don't know. Like, it's kind of a rebuilding year, but you can't have the year that the Niners had. 3-4 years ago when they went to the Super Bowl.
I think it's been 5 now.
It might be 5.
I think.
But just like don't have the players, you can't produce the points. And of course, you only get away with 3 points today.
Well, here's the thing. It feels like we've been rebuilding for 100 years. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, it just, you're talking about short time periods that feel long. It just feels like we've been rebuilding forever. And honestly, and anybody that knows me knows I've been ranting about it forever. But the biggest thing is we fired the best coach we'd had since Bill Walsh.
Oh, yes.
And that's a problem. Now, of course, if anybody's wondering, Michigan won this weekend.
Yeah.
And they win pretty much every weekend with that head coach.
Exactly.
And, we, on the other hand, just got trampled by the Panthers.
Right. And a Panthers team that wasn't that great last year.
Yeah. And we were talking during the game. I don't know how. I mean, I don't dislike the Panthers. I mean, they are the closest team to us geographically, regardless of what our friends who are Pittsburgh fans may think. They really are closer to us. Charlotte's closer than Pittsburgh, but
about 2 hours.
Yeah, about 2 hours and a lot of miles. But we won't even know. We probably won't even know what the Panthers have until next week because I mean, let's face it, everybody's going to beat us. I think we're on our way to a perfect season.
Yeah. Like Detroit it went.
Yeah. I'm just as I'm watching this. We were talking about. I'm trying to figure out who may be coming into the draft this year that we're trying to play to get because that's what it feels like right now. We, in the game this afternoon, my gosh, I felt like Brian Hoyer was trying to throw the ball to us here in West Virginia.
Yeah.
Nowhere near his receivers, so I don't know what that was about. And then of course we do have Carlos Hyde as a strong running back, but
and he looked good. He did a couple good bursting runs But like I said, the passing just wasn't there. And then you had a lot of drop balls.
Yeah.
I mean, there's right through the guy's hands. The only thing he had to do was just squeeze, and wasn't there.
Yeah.
But
I thought his shoulders went out or something. I don't know. Couldn't squeeze the ball. But anyway, so
Sherman. Don't squeeze the Sherman.
Don't squeeze the Sherman. But anyway, overall, it's still a fun time to get to watch it with you and to get to hang out. That was good. But I guess we'll see what happens. But I'm not too hopeful. Maybe I was hopeful that with the new leadership they have a new GM and John Lynch and new head coach and Kyle Shanahan that things may start turning around. Of course, it's only the first game, and they may pull it together a little bit. I don't see it happening with Hoyer.
No,
let's face it. He has a legend of losing. You know what I mean? And it not nothing against him, but I mean, it just he's not a great quarterback. But who's out there to get? So
you got to start somewhere.
That's right. Well, next week the Niners have the Seahawks, which should just be a great time for everyone involved.
Seahawks lost today.
They did.
Yeah.
Did they lose?
Yeah, Seahawks lost today to Green Bay.
That's right. They did.
Yeah,
that was good.
And Green Bay might be a little bit tougher than what people's thinking.
They might be. They might be that, but the thing is, I mean, I'm sure the Seahawks have a great bounce back week next week.
Oh,
the way
yeah.
things are looking right now, I think that we're going there. So
Richard Sherman probably go crazy.
oh, he's already crazy. He didn't have to go.
A little more, yeah.
Yeah, a little more. That's it. So speaking of Richard Sherman, I have a few friends this year, and I've seen a lot of people on Facebook who refuse to buy the new Madden this year because Tom Brady's on the cover. What do you think about that?
I think it's comical. I don't know what was. I mean, I don't know what would make somebody stop because of Brady.
I don't know. I mean, the reason I brought up Richard Sherman is he was on the cover, I think, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And I can't stand that dude, but I mean, it didn't stop me from buying Madden. I mean, I don't know.
Is the case flattened?
Well, when I took out the disc, it was kind of floppy.
Kind of floppy.
It was.
I mean,
but floppy disc.
I'll admit I'm not the biggest Tom Brady fan in the world, but that's not going to stop me from buying something.
Yeah, me either. I didn't. I mean, I've bought all kinds of video games with people on the front I wasn't a fan of.
Yeah,
I've bought Madden several times. Heck, I'd have to Google search from the last time a Niner was on a Madden game.
Probably Steve Young.
Yeah, probably so.
Steve Young or Jerry Rice.
I'd have to check that out. But anyway, I thought that was interesting. A lot of people were. I'm not a Tom Brady fan either, but I thought that was interesting. Now, we have one friend in particular I'm thinking of. I'm not going to call him out to embarrass him because I'm just picking on him. But he has been very adamant. He's a Madden. I think he's pretty much a yearly buyer, and he didn't. But he's not the only one. There's lots of people online. I've been reading. There was kind of like a movement not to buy Madden because Tom Brady was on the cover. I don't. That's just. I don't know. I just can't imagine that would be a reason that I wouldn't buy a game.
That's just one of those people need to grow up deals. I don't. That just stuns me that people be like it. I mean, just because a guy is on the cover of a game, it don't make sense to me. But I don't know.
It reminds me of a few years ago. Let's see. I don't remember which. It's been in the last 2 or 3 years. Every year the WWE has made a much bigger deal out of who's on the cover of the new WWE game every year than they used to. You know, and a few years ago, The Rock was on the cover, and and people were really bent out of shape about that too. And I didn't understand that either. They even did that year an alternate cover because people were so bent out of shape. Because and of course, when wrestling's different, it's told, well, he's a part timer, blah blah blah.
Right.
And that year they had a fan contest, and Daniel Bryan ended up winning, and he was like, there was like an inside cover. And like you could take it out. I mean, I've got it in there. You could take it out and you could put
got that.
and you could flip it. So I don't know. I don't think ever who's on the cover doesn't make that big a deal to me. But all right, what are you going to do?
Yeah, I mean, usually a lot of Madden's the same thing year after year. They just put a little more bells and whistles, and you have your roster changes. It's the same for MLB The Show. How many different times can you swing a bat,
Well, and that's the thing. I was talking to our buddy Chris Malenko a few weeks ago, and he said he wasn't buying Madden this year for that reason. It just didn't seem like... And really, I mean, honestly, lots of times you basically get updated rosters.
Right.
I mean, some of the... I don't do... and it's my own fault. I don't do a lot of the different... what things that you can play on Madden, but the different features, because I basically like just to start a game and play.
Right.
And that's what I like to do. And if you're that way like I am, I mean, it's been like, I don't know, it really is just basically a roster update and that's it. But still, I mean, I enjoy it.
Right.
And I pretty much always get it. And yeah, so anyway, just thought I'd throw that out there, Tom Brady. I will give Tom Brady props for one thing, though. There was a video on Facebook of the Patriots that were the team that were at the Greenbrier this year.
Yes.
With their training camp. And there was a young kid, I think probably around 10 years old, who has cancer. And his wish was to meet Tom Brady.
I seen
and
that.
He's actually, the place he's from, Justice, West Virginia, is only about 40 minutes from where I grew up. And
Right.
so, of course, there was a video on Facebook with him going there and meeting Tom Brady. And Tom Brady was very, very nice to him, and his dad was just putting over how classy Tom Brady was with him, and you could even see, in the some of the stuff they caught on Facebook. It wasn't like, Tom. I've always thought he seemed kind of jerky. You know what I mean? But
right.
But in this situation particularly, and he could be a jerk, I don't know. But in this situation, he didn't come across that way at all, and he was just really, supportive to the boy and stuff. So,
right.
So I thought that was cool.
Yeah, and especially with his age, just turning 40, which nothing's wrong turning 40. To do a physical game like that, where you're going to get hit about every play and can still get up and throw it. That's impressive on its own. Like I said, I don't like the guy, but it's still impressive. Like, say you're 40 and you're playing a young man's game. It's like Mayweather. When he,
old Mayweather.
Being 41 and still box pretty good, but.
You're right. You're right. The reason I don't like Mayweather has nothing to do with he's just he's just something. But you know what? He's something. He may be a kind of I think he's a jerk, but he's a jerk who's rolling in the cash now after that fight, is he not?
Shoot, yeah, he got a swimming pool full of it now.
Yeah, he and people keep saying how happy Conor McGregor looked after the fight. I would let Mayweather knock me out too for $100 million, right?
Shoot, yeah.
I mean, he just got paid $100 million to chase around a little guy that can't read for 27 minutes. I mean, hello.
Shoot. Hey. If I was going to mention something, I'm going to keep my mouth shut on that.
Anyway, so there you have it. Anyway, that was just another little football tidbit out there that the little Madden cover issue this year. And I've been looking, and I'll have it for us at some point, but I've been looking as we've been talking here, and I can't find when the last Niner was that was on the cover. Honestly, when the Niners were really good, I don't even think Madden existed, but that's another story.
That's when it was on Super PlayStation.
Super PlayStation. The Super Nintendo Entertainment System.
Tecmo Bowl.
I love some Tecmo Bowl.
Oh, I do too.
I've got the NES Classic and it has Tecmo Bowl on it. That's a great game. But anyway, all that said, Tommy, anything else football-wise you wanna touch on or talk about?
Not right off my head, because I didn't get to watch a lot of football this weekend, and just watching that game with you, like I said, the Zone of Red that I watched this morning, that's about all the football I got to watch this weekend.
Yeah, I haven't been, I've gotten to watch a little bit, but I haven't gotten to watch as much as, last weekend, basically, with all our home renovations and stuff going on here at home, but basically I watched West Virginia's game and that was it. Then yesterday, was the, I went to the game and then got home and that was it. Last night I got to check out a little bit of NASCAR. This is a big time of year for NASCAR too.
Getting ready for the chase.
Yes, they set the field last night, and I just want to point out that Dale Jr. wasn't in it. Poor guy. His last year, and he's not in the chase.
Doggone.
Yeah.
My heart's breaking.
No, he. I will say that as far as NASCAR goes, I'm not nearly as big of a fan as I used to be. I'm sure we'll talk a lot about some NASCAR on the show. So, particularly as the chase or the playoffs now, as they call it. That's one of the reasons I think I've gotten disenchanted with NASCAR a little bit. Is it seems like they change the rules like every year. There's something,
It's like they changed it to try to keep Jimmy Johnson out of winning a championship,
and he still wins.
Wins the championship.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I know a lot of people, probably you included, don't care a lot for Jimmy Johnson. My parents are big Jimmy Johnson fans. So
I remember you saying that before.
I've learned to appreciate him through them. And the thing is, like it or not, he and what's his name, Chad Knaus, the crew chief.
Right.
They found a way to manipulate every playoff system to their advantage because they know the races where it's going to matter. I listened to. I was watching a little bit of the race last night and I fell asleep, quite honestly. And they were talking about how every summer it seems like he goes through this slump. But I think that they just kind of get themselves ready for the chase and.
Right.
And then they're concentrating on those tracks where you've got to perform. It's probably not a bad move. Because right now, let's face it, NASCAR is a sport where if you can just make that playoff, you don't have to have a really great season to be the champion anymore.
No, you just win one race, get yourself in, and just ride around.
Heck, Kyle Busch, look, 2 years ago, missed half the season.
Yeah, missed half the season. And then
somehow won the championship.
Yeah.
What other sport can you do that? I'm hoping that the 49ers can do that this year because they've already missed week one. They didn't show up.
They already blew the engine on that.
Yeah, but anyway, so now there's at one time in my life I probably could have sat here and rattled off and named all 16 drivers that are in the chase and all that. I can't do that now. I know that Martin Truex has had a really good season so far,
right?
And Kyle Larson has had a really good season so far,
right?
And the aforementioned Jimmy Johnson hasn't won lately, but he has 3 or 4 wins earlier in the year, which set them up well. So those guys are doing pretty well. Yeah, so we'll see what happens. But I will be interested to see what happens to pulls through. But a lot of people are expecting Martin Truex to take the whole thing this year. But
I wouldn't mind seeing that.
Yeah, I mean, he seems like a good guy.
He's a good guy. I think he'd be a good champion.
Yeah, the only thing with him is it always seems like he has an issue getting over the hump. You know what I mean?
Right.
It seems like he does really well for a while, and then it just stalls out, and he has trouble getting over and winning the big one kind of thing.
It's like that bowling ball game at the carnivals.
The bowling ball game.
Yeah, where you gotta get up and it's got a flashlight and you try to get over that hump. You can never get over that hump.
I'm gonna start calling those Martin Truex.
Exactly.
The bowling ball at the carnival. Yeah. But anyway, we'll see what happens there. But I do still love NASCAR, but I'm not as interested in it as I used to be in some ways. And I think the rules. Then of course, I was a big Jeff Gordon fan, and when he retired, that kind of killed it. It did the same thing for me that when Dale Earnhardt passed away. You know what it did for a lot of people. They just kind of you didn't feel like they had somebody to pull for anymore. And like now, I pull for. I'll probably always pull for the 24 car. Of course, Chase Elliott's driving it now. William Byron will be driving it next year. And I do like Chase. I'll probably pull for him. I like Kyle Larson. I mean, there's lots of Chevy drivers that I like and I pull for. But we'll see what happens there and see how NASCAR winds down. And I'm sure we'll be talking about that on here. I guess another big topic that's hot right now. Of course, we love our wrestling, and we were talking before we went on the air here that women's wrestling is really big right now. I think the Mae Young Classic has a lot to.
It has opened a lot of eyes, I believe.
Yeah, it has. I was looking, I didn't get to count all of them, but out of those 32 women, you and I saw a lot of them live in Orlando.
Yes, and Orlando kept it busy, and then I've seen some in North Carolina with Queens of Combat.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing all the names. When they coming through, it's like, wow, I've talked to that person. And The what we just in this tournament right now, of course, a lot of people are talking about Shayna Baszler. We saw her in Orlando. Right. She's one of the 4 horsewomen of the MMA, and I tell you, that's something I think WWE's getting ready to latch on to big time. Of course, Ronda Rousey and the rest of the crew there was in the crowd at the Mae Young Classic and had a few interactions with the 4 horsewomen of the WWE there. And Sasha wasn't there; she was probably out denying a fan an autograph. But Charlotte, Bayley, and Becky were all there, and of course they shot some things in the back. So I think that old East Carolina grad we were talking about earlier, I think he's getting ready to cash in with Mrs. Rousey being involved. What do you think? I do believe so. I think that's going to be a big cash cow, and they're going to make a lot of money off of that. Yeah,
TMZ has already picked up on her being there, and they had an interesting headline I thought that said I can't remember if I think it was that that Ric Flair's daughter calls out Ronda Rousey.
Right.
So I think that's where the money's going to be.
Yeah, that's how they'll push it.
Because everybody knows who Ric Flair is, and even if they don't know who Charlotte is, they'll be interested in knowing his daughter is calling out Ronda Rousey. Now, rumor has it that they are maybe pushing towards something at Survivor Series. Mm-hmm. The 2 groups of 4 horsewomen against each other. Now, I don't know if that's the way they should go, or they should just hold off and do a Ronda one-on-one WrestleMania kind of thing. I don't know. What do you think, Tommy? What do you think's the route they should go with that?
I think they should let Ronda do her own singles thing, and I think Charlotte would be a good starting point for her.
Yeah,
and then try to build it up. I think Charlotte could probably work with her, and make it look good and make it a good match. Of course, Ronda's a heck of an athlete to begin with.
Yeah.
I mean, do what she did in MMA and be on those people as quick as she did and as athletic as she is. I think the move is a lot easier going to be for her. Kind of like how like Ken Shamrock and Dan Severn and them, how they was successful going crossover.
Look at Kurt Angle.
And Kurt Angle and Brock. Of course, Brock goes in and out. Mm-hmm. But I think it'll be good for her. It'll be good for the WWE. I think it's going to be a lot of money.
I tell you, I agree with you. I think even though, I'm even though she's very green, I've seen a lot of hate on the internet for Shayna Baszler. But here's the thing: this is, at the end of the day, wrestling is a business. Exactly. And people, we get online, we get on our soapboxes about, well, this person's a part-timer, that person's a part-timer. Well, this person can't work, that person can't work. And I'm as guilty as anybody. We Monday morning quarterback wrestling to death. But at the end of the day, is what did the money look like?
Exactly.
Because it's a business.
What does the Nelson rating say?
Yeah, I'm sure when Vince gets up in the morning, he doesn't care nearly as much about what that match looked like as he cares about what's in his bank account.
Exactly.
And, Shayna Baszler being in that tournament is just opening the door for what's getting ready to happen. Now, I think, one thing I will say is I would like to see them push more toward the Ronda Charlotte because, number one, let's face it, the other horsewomen, do we even know who they are? The MMA. No, I mean, no. Ronda's the draw.
Right.
And I think that whether people like it or not, Charlotte is one of the best women's wrestlers in the world.
Right.
And I think she would be the one to get Ronda to a good match. I think that when they get Ronda down to the Performance Center and she's working with Death Ray, Sarah Death Ray is what I call her. But the head trainer. She will get. She'll get Ronda where she needs to be. Ronda's obviously a great athlete. People can hate on Ronda all they want. Well, her last two matches she lost, or fights she lost. Well, she did. But look at what she did before that. Then people will say, well, she didn't beat very difficult opponents. Well, unless you're CM Punk, you're not getting in the cage if you don't belong there in some way, shape, or form. Right. So at the end of the day, she did all that. And at the end of the day, she's one of the biggest draws ever. Right. In MMA, and she will do the same in WWE. It's just like with Brock. We can talk all day. Brock's a part-timer. Sure he is. Should Brock be the champion? Maybe, maybe not. End of the day, he's one of the biggest draws in combat sports, and that's why he's getting paid the money to work as less as he is.
Right.
And Ronda can probably do the same thing, quite honestly.
Oh yeah, and get away with it.
Yeah, because when you're that kind of draw, you make that kind of money. You can do what you want.
Right.
So, there you go.
And, like I said, because she won't have to work as hard. And, of course, like I said, you won't have all those people, well, this girl deserves it more because she had every show. Like I said, when you're a draw, you make the money, who cares?
That's right. It's just is what it is.
Like I said, it's a
we
business.
Can agree or disagree, but that's what it is.
Oh, yeah.
I'd love to have Ronda Rousey on a WCW show.
Who's she going to wrestle?
Is Kincaid available? Because I'm thinking she's going to wrestle.
That's
But anyway,
not knocking our women's wrestling here.
No, I'm kidding.
I know.
But so there we go with that. But anyway, so I think that's something we're going to be seeing very, very soon. But anyway, so we did see that. Other than Shayna, we saw a lot of these ladies down in Orlando, and like you said, traveling across. We, of course. Candice LeRae was in the tournament. Tessa Blanchard was in the tournament. Toni Storm, who you and I saw at that Great Progress show we went to, is in the tournament. Several others. I can't remember all that. I was looking at the final four of this tournament. 3 of them we saw live.
Exactly.
So I think that's pretty awesome.
That's pretty cool. Like I said, to see the final three of the 4 final. Mm-hmm. And of course, you probably had a picture of a couple of them.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh my gosh, there she is. Yeah. Anyway, and then of course the only person, I don't think it's really spoilers now. People watch, but the only person in the Final Four we didn't see was Kairi Sane from Japan. Who Tommy, have you gotten to see her yet? I know you told me you hadn't caught up on the tournament. She's has a sailor yacht type gimmick. Like
right.
She comes out.
I've seen her on the showcase where they came through the ring.
Okay.
I hadn't got to watch any of the matches because they started right in my baseball season.
Well, there you go.
And then, of course, as soon as baseball was over with, I ended up going back on wrestling tours in Tennessee and a few shows here in West Virginia.
Well, I know you said, but you've been kept in the loop on what's going on in the tournament, so I don't think I'm spoiling anything for you. So,
I had been kept in the loop.
So first of all, Kyrie, she has one of the best top rope elbow I've seen since the Macho Man.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just, you've got to see it. She's just really, really a top notch performer. I've learned here lately on the interwebs that she's a kind of a polarizing figure because some people don't understand her gimmick. But to make a long story short, if you see her, she comes out in this, she's basically like this sailor pirate kind of thing. But where it comes from is when she was in school and in college, she was into competitive yachting and sailing in Japan.
Right. Okay.
And so her goal originally was to be an Olympian in that sport. And of course that didn't happen, but she still kind of carried that and made her wrestling gimmick. She's a really good babyface. She's the best female babyface I've seen since Bayley. Wow. Now I'm talking about NXT Bayley. I'm not talking about how Vince tried to kill Bayley. I'm talking about that old level of overness that Bayley had in NXT. Kyrie, she has that same kind of appeal though, and the crowd has really taken to her. Like, I would say that in this tournament, she was probably the second most over as a baby face. There's lots of that positive right behind Candace. Of course, Candace, was extremely over because of her work in places like PWG and people that was wrestling the men, and then of course Johnny, her husband, Johnny Wrestling himself's been in the crowd and so all that I think has helped Candace a lot be over with the crowd. But Kyrie's probably this number 2. So she's a smaller competitor too. I mean, she's about the size of Candace, so she's small in stature, but she in the finals this Tuesday will be taking on Shayna Baszler, who again is the MMA fighter. It's really a dynamic I can't wait to see because Shayna is, she's been of course in our kayfabe world choking everybody out that she faces. She had great matches with Candice LeRae. And then there was, I can't remember the person who she was in the match before Candace, but really, really good stuff. The people that she's been in there with has made her look like $1 million because you can tell she's still green, but she's learning, and that's the main thing. So anyway, but I'm looking forward to that. So there we go. So, Tom, let me ask you this. While we're talking about women's wrestling, we don't have to necessarily stick on WWE or anything like that.
Right.
But who is your favorite women's wrestler currently?
Oh, do we have to ask that question?
Do you? Well, I figured. Well, our listeners don't know.
A lot of people don't know that. But of course, I am a big Thunder Kitty fan.
Thunder Kitty. Now
Tell
us who Thunder Kitty is, in case people out there don't know.
Thunder Kitty has she worked on ROH, and she was actually a quote unquote jobber. I don't like using that term.
Mm-hmm.
But a jobber at WWE for oh gosh. My mind just went blank. The Jersey girl that hangs around with the old
Carmella.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. She jobbed out for Carmella, and it seemed like her name was like CJ something, and she had this Hawaiian look, and just what really impressed me about her is the first time I seen her was at WrestleCade, when we went to WrestleCade, and she had a table there with the Queens of Combat people, and she's got this. When I grew up, I loved Lucille Ball, and she has the kind of a Lucille Ball appeal, with the red hair and had up and she comes out to sometimes Johnny Cash, sometimes to Patsy Cline.
Yeah.
And just kind of an old school type wrestler.
You might know the answer to this because I don't. I've always wondered with that gimmick and the gimmick shorts, I wonder where she got the name Thunder Kitty. Do you have any idea?
I think it's an old World War II term.
Oh.
You remember when in World War II,
Okay.
the women had to go to work on like the airplanes and stuff to get them ready for battle? I think it's a World War II term of like the people that worked on the airplanes to go to war.
I gotcha. See, I think of Thundercats, so that's why I couldn't get the connection. But what you're saying makes complete sense.
Right. So I think that's what it was about. And of course, her character portrayed like she's 93 years old or whatever, and her birthday's like 10 days before mine. And I sent her a nice little thing on Twitter.
So y'all have a connection now.
Yeah, we got a connection. She probably thinks I'm a stalker. But I seen her in Winston-Salem. Oh man, it is. I want to say like in the first part of the year. Well, it was after WrestleCade, and I gave her one of my ball cards and like how I'm the guy that kind of stalks you on Twitter.
Did the card have your number on it?
No, Melissa wouldn't let me.
Oh, well, that's too bad.
Yeah. Melissa, first time I met her, I gave her a card, no number. You think I was going to give another stranger a card with no number on it?
Well, so Thunder Kitty is your overall favorite. Do you have since we're talking about WWE related Mae Young, out of the ladies in WWE, do you have a favorite out of any of the?
Bailey's a sweetheart. I like the way she works. I like Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting kind of tired of Sasha.
Yeah.
I think they're kind of pushing her too much. As in, Alexa Bliss, I think is real talented. I think she's real good. But as like just a certain pinpoint favorite, I gotta go buy a T-shirt.
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll answer the same question. You probably already know my answer as well.
Oh yeah.
Who my favorite women's wrestler is on the planet.
Oh yes.
Oh my gosh, there she is.
Oh my gosh, there she is.
We'll tell that story one day on the show.
You'll have to tell that story.
Yeah, but my favorite women's wrestler in the world is Tessa Blanchard.
Mm-hmm.
But Tessa, honestly, I feel like it. I'm trying to think of the way to put it. I don't mean personal reasons in the way that it sounds, but I love, number one, that she's so old school. You know what I mean?
Right.
She's a very old school worker. Does a lot of heel work. Is very old school in that she's trained by our good buddy George South. Who's I would argue that George South is as good of a trainer as anybody on the planet.
And I love George.
Yeah,
I just got to work with George.
Yeah, George is great. I mean, he is as good as anybody in that performance center in Orlando or in any school you can find. He's trained some of the best wrestlers on the planet. Now, Cedric Alexander, for example, I would argue could work with anybody in the world.
Scott Dawson.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, but you know how I feel about the Revival. I'll have to tell you.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a hashtag on that.
Yeah, there is a hashtag. We probably can't say it because the Bugs and Cody got a cease and desist for saying it, so we probably can't say it either. But Scott Dawson is a world class wrestler. But Tessa comes from that same brand. Her father, of course, is another one of my all time favorite wrestlers, Tully Blanchard. I always felt like Tully was one of the most underrated guys in the Horsemen.
Underrated, and his career got cut short on over a mistake.
Yeah.
And that's the sad part, because now with the day of age of the world we're living in, I mean, he could have did what he did now and run for mayor of Washington D.C.
Yeah, wouldn't made a difference.
That wouldn't made a difference, but just because of the early '90s, like I said, it's just a different world we live in, and like I said, if he was active now,
probably wouldn't make a difference.
30-day suspension, he'd been back and wouldn't even known it.
Mm-hmm. Well, if he were in the NFL, he wouldn't even been suspended. But that's another story.
That's another story.
But Tully, I think, was a great wrestler. And her stepdad, of course, Magnum TA. So she just has a lineage that can't be denied.
Right.
Of wrestling. And I'm not doing like, that Dale Jr. Willard Daddy was great, but Tessa is amazing. I think she's excellent. And her work rate just speaks for itself. We saw her in a match, in a tag match, with her partner Vanessa Craven down in Orlando. Well, against Maya Yim, and I can't remember who her partner was, but Yim's also in the Mae Young Classic. And that was a great match. Just such old school awesomeness. You know what I mean? Like the team they were facing were doing a lot more of the new age kind of stuff. But Tessa just, the gimmick she and Craven were working, where Craven sort of doing all the work and she's taking all the glory. You know what I mean? It was such great work. I think that's great. But of course, I've seen her a few other times too. Which we saw her, we've seen her at WrestleCade work a couple times. I saw her with PWX. She worked with two girls down there in a triple threat. Was excellent. I mean, and of course, many videos and just things online. So she's probably my favorite female wrestler in the world.
I seen her at Remix in Ohio.
She's the champion up there.
She's a champion up there. I was there when she won the title.
Yeah, she's a champion there. She's a champion for Wrestle Circus over in Texas. I mean, she holds several titles now. I would like to have saw her got a little bit of a better run in the Mae Young tournament, but the round one match she had with Kairi Sane was probably right now my favorite match of that tournament. It was so good. They told such a great story, and Kairi was so over as a babyface, and Tessa sort of went into that heel character that she does, and it was really good. So I'd give her all the credit in the world. And I think that WWE will be crazy if they don't sign her.
Oh, I agree.
And, if not through this round with the tournament very soon, because they're missing out on just a future star.
Oh yes.
I mean, and the other thing is, just got to put out there, she ain't bad to look at.
No, gorgeous body.
But I also love her boyfriend, Ricochet.
Prince Puma.
Prince Puma Ricochet, who just last weekend became the first ever 2-time winner of the Battle of Los Angeles.
Oh, really?
PWG, yes, he did.
Wow.
He's and evidently from everything I've read, it seemed like almost like a send off for him. So I'd say Orlando wants to get themselves pulled back together, maybe calling his name too. But they had both of them. They've been living down there together for a while, staying close to the performance center. So
right, that's good.
I think it's only a matter of time before we'll see them up in. And what's interesting about that couple is Ricochet is known for the flips and high flying and new age kind of stuff, but Tessa's so old school. You know what I mean? So I find that. I think that's kind of a cool dynamic. Not that it means anything, but that's just.
And he's just a good athlete too.
Oh yeah, too.
We watched him at WrestleCade, and it took me a while to figure out. Oh, that's Prince Puma. It's like Matt Cross.
Son of Havoc.
Son of Havoc. It took me a while. Oh, wait, that's Son of Havoc.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing what a mask can do.
Well, who else did that to me when we saw him at WrestleCade was Shane Strickland. Isn't that his name? He teamed with Sami Callihan in Orlando when we were there.
Right.
Remember him? Yeah, he is Killshot.
Right.
And I didn't even didn't occur to me until we were in the match. I'm like, wait a minute, I've seen this guy work before. So lots of guys like that. But of course, Tessa from favorite. Now, there's so many other female. I think we're in like a real golden age for women's wrestling. I don't ever remember there being a time when there were this many talented. I mean, because. And this is going to sound chauvinistic, and I don't mean for it to at all, but wrestling has always been portrayed as a man's sport.
Right. And talk about like with independent. I'm going to switch this just a little bit because something happened last night's show. It just entered in my mind when we were talking about women's wrestling. Of course, I did Innovate Wrestling last night. That's old NWA Smoky Mountain, and they've got a girl, Nicole Payne. Her opponent didn't show up, so they had you'll know this guy by a different name, but they called him the Super Convict. Orange.
The Super Convict.
Okay. But it was a different player of the Super Convict, but it was the same gear.
Okay, then.
Because somebody borrowed the gear from
the other person.
Okay. And he did a well of a job, and he had like an open challenge, and Nicole Payne come out and beat the Super Convict. But Innovate is going to have a women's division now.
Oh wow, awesome!
So that's going to be their big push now. Right. So that's going to leave an opening for them in East Tennessee to have some women working in matches, and I think it'd be great. I wish that we could make the push here in West Virginia.
Yeah,
but we just don't have a lot of the workers. The one worker that we do have here actually had to go to Tennessee and work a match last month for Evolve Wrestling out of Elizabeth and Johnson City area.
Okay.
And of course, Yasha, she went and worked a match here with oh my goodness, I can't think of the girl's name, Danny Fryer.
Okay.
And they got to work. And so she's learning more about, I guess the different areas.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're getting a lot of our people that works with us with West Virginia Championship Wrestling out in different spots.
Yeah, shout out to Yasha too. She has progressed so much, and it's really changed her life in a lot of ways. She's really proud of posting, on social media, if you follow her, of some of the changes she's made physically, and she just really, I think we're just really proud of her, and we'd like to see her out there getting some work.
I love the girl to death, and I'll tell you about the improvement that she did. I don't mean to kind of twist the story,
no, okay.
But so I worked her at the Mountain Fest in Bluefield. And the first time I worked her, it was hard for her to get the collar and elbow, of course, with a big head or whatever. Mm-hmm. Get the collar and elbow in to do a move with me. From the first time, it was like within 6 months from training to getting her in the ring. And then from the next time I wrestled her in the next July at the church show, church that used to be Lowe's.
Yeah, Church of God.
Church of God. We wrestled in the parking lot, and it was night and day. It was like I wrestled two different people.
Yeah.
And she learned so much within that year, or it was actually like 13 months, learned so much, and she's getting better and better and got the training more. And like I said, now she's working out a lot more. She's going to be something to watch.
Yeah,
I think
awesome.
Just get her in different areas. She's actually going to wrestle. I'm going to plug a show. She's actually going to wrestle Thunder Kitty October 6th.
Hey,
at a Piggly Wiggly.
Hey, Thunder Kitty and a Piggly Wiggly. That sounds like a really great time to me.
I'm really wanting to go to that.
Well, go on.
I might do it. And by the way, Yasha is the only person to kick out my chicken wing.
Because Roscoe is undefeated. This could be the first podcast hosted by an undefeated tag team.
That's true.
This could be.
I didn't even think about it. You're right.
But nobody go out and looking for the footage because Cody Green is a dirtbag. But anyway,
love you, Cody.
Yeah, he does, Cody. Anyway, but yeah, I think women's wrestling is such a great point, and honestly, shout out to Triple H for the changes he's making.
Right.
Because doing this tournament, if not a single woman in this tournament gets signed to WWE, it gives not only all of these women amazing exposure, but it also gives women's wrestling such amazing exposure, and it shows you that you can see more than what you see even on the main roster. You know what I mean? Because a lot of the ladies on the main roster, I'm a huge fan of so many of them, but when they get there, it's like their wings get clipped in some ways. Bayley's the perfect example. I love Bayley. She's one of my favorite wrestlers in the world, but the booking of her has been so horrendous that it's sad that they took something that could have honestly been, again, if your goal is to make money, that girl is going to make you a lot of money, in merchandising, because she was such a hot baby face, and they have just killed her into oblivion. So what you're seeing through the Mae Young Classic is it doesn't have to be all characters with these women. Now you've got some girls in there who can really work.
Right.
We listed off many of them. Toni Storm is another. The first ever Progress women's champion. Progress started their own women's championship. Right. She's their first and only champion right now. And I think you're going to see more women's divisions in lots of different companies as we move forward. I don't know if it's true or not, but I've even heard rumors of PWG starting a women's division, which would be amazing.
And that would be great.
Yeah, Ring of Honor has the Women of Honor right now.
Right.
So,
and we know some people from on that one, too.
Yes, we do. And shout out to Taylor Hendricks. I don't think she's with them anymore, but I'm going to send Taylor a shout out any chance I can. So, hey, Taylor.
And I got to work with Taylor not too long ago.
Yeah, you did. And I got video proof.
That's right.
That's all I need. Anyway, so I do think things are going well. As far as the question I popped at you about the main rosters women, again, if you'd have asked me as soon as 6 months ago, I'd have told you Bailey was my favorite. I still love Bailey, and it breaks my heart to say anybody else is my favorite over her. So don't think I'm burying her by any means. I really hope something happens and they turn the boat around with her because she's a great worker. But honestly, I'll tell you who I'm really into right now is Alexa Bliss.
She's a little cutie.
Well, she's a cutie, but she also...
I don't mean oranges.
Okay. Anyway, but not only that, she is one of the rare circumstances of someone who is better on the main roster than they were in NXT.
Oh, yeah.
That's rare.
Oh, yeah. You're right.
That's really rare.
You hit the nail on the head on that. And she is a lot better on the main.
Yeah, I mean, I think when she first got caught up, I really thought she could have used more time in NXT. And I still think it probably would have helped her. But tell you what, her ring work, she's no Charlotte or Becky or Bailey even in the ring. But whatever she's doing, it's working because she is really over. Yes. And I'm like you too. You mentioned Sasha. I'm kind of a little bit over Sasha too. Some of the recent reports about the treatment of fans and things. Even though yes, I've read 1,000 arguments about it, but I get that these people don't owe us anything as fans. But still, come on. If you can deny a 10-year-old an autograph, you've got a problem. So
that's one thing I say I've never done.
Denied someone an autograph?
Denied someone
me either. Now, I've been asked like twice in my life. But, I've gladly signed both of those and gave them a high five and bought their lunch afterward for asking me. No, I'm kidding. But anyway, so there's that. Todd, anything else in the world of, not just women's wrestling, but anything else that's going on in wrestling you think we need to talk about this go around?
We can plug our show.
Absolutely. This coming Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday.
September 16th?
Yes.
That's correct?
That is correct.
WVCW will be at a new venue for us at the Bluefield Salvation Army.
The Coalfield Clash. Yeah, Bluefield Salvation Army.
Yeah.
They've been wanting us for a little while, so we're going over there.
If you're, as I told everyone on commentary at the last show, if you're brave enough to go to Bluefield, then come on over to the Salvation Army at Bluefield. We'd love to have you. I don't have the card in front of me, but I know we have a great lineup. Aren't the Universal Heartthrobs supposed to be making their return? Is that correct? I think I'm not that was for sure. I think that's what I read, what I saw on one of the posters and heard is that the Heartthrobs would be there. But if not, come anyway. I'm sure that there'll be lots of great action for you to check out. I'll tell you that our show in Princeton just a couple of weeks ago was fantastic. When you first looked at it on paper, you wondered, but it was really good. We had Anthony Henry there, who I think is one of the best wrestlers on this planet right now.
I got an Anthony Henry story.
You got an Anthony Henry story?
Yeah.
I'll take all the Anthony Henry stories you got.
Okay, so, of course I couldn't make our last show because, my contractual obligations with the Princeton race.
You was up making that big money?
Yeah. That's getting taxed too. But I left the ballpark right after the game and I drove into Sheets. Of course, everybody knows I'm a big Sheets freak. Because I got over like 15,000 points on my Sheets card. So they give me a mug like every time I walk in there. So I walk in Sheets and there's Anthony Henry. And his girl Amber, and I walk in there and of course I have my Princeton hat on and my Tampa Bay gear on, and I walk up to him. I was like, "Hey, how did it go?" He said, "How'd what go?" I said, "The show. Didn't you work at the show? I know you didn't drive up from Where is he from? Like Georgia?
He's from Georgia.
I don't think you just drove up Georgia just to watch the show. I know you had to work it. Mm-hmm. And he finally put 2 plus 2 of who it was. And I think I kind of scared him a little bit. Some guy, how'd it go?
Wait, were you still in the suit?
No, I wasn't in the suit.
This part would be so much better if you were in the suit. You ask him how to go.
I've had the manager of Sheets one time ask me to come in with the suit.
Did they give you another mug for it?
No, not yet.
So anyway.
That's to be determined.
Okay.
But Anthony here, like I said, he's a great talented guy, nice guy. I like I think most memorable was when he did that Halloween show and he's throwing candy at everybody.
That was good stuff.
That was good stuff.
I tell you, I think very highly of Anthony and Amber. I'm a big fan of both of them. This show was as many shows as I've been to that they were on. I've got to just exchange quick pleasantries with Anthony before, but this was the first time I actually got to talk to him for a little bit. Man's smart guy.
Oh, yeah,
for the business. He gets it. We were talking about just some of the things, and I don't want to kill the business here on the show, but just some of the things that were happening in the match, and just listening to him talk about how he broke it down and decided which way this should go. It was a very good match. He main evented the show, and it was a great show. He was there. I'll tell you, who else was on the show? And actually, what ended up happening, for those of you who don't know, was the show had to get moved dates because of a building issue.
Right.
And so some of the people who were originally planned to be there didn't get to come. But it kind of, even though I missed the guys that couldn't come, but when we ended up with, we added Anthony, and we also had Chance Prophet.
I love Chance Prophet.
Hey, man, what a great guy.
Outstanding.
Just a great human being. If you get to talk to him, just such a nice guy.
Yes, and I've had many hours sit and talk with Chance Prophet.
Yeah, and so he came, and I'll tell you, Chance is, I know he'd been having some health issues not too long ago, so I wondered, but he still was able to put on a very good match, and he also, the crowd was hot for him.
That's good.
Yeah, the crowd was really into him. I like that. I'd like to see more of Chance in our area. Great match.
I hadn't got to watch that last show, and hadn't checked on YouTube yet. But I'm glad that people do get into Chance like they do, and of course he's traveled the world over. He's been wrestling California, Ohio. He's been all over the globe just about.
Yeah, Chance, he's one of those guys that if he didn't want to, he wouldn't have to do very much in the ring because he's got such charisma.
Yes.
People, just the character and the things that he does and the way he portrays playing the mind games with people just get sucked into it.
Oh, yeah.
And so I think that, just a great guy. I got a chance to speak with him. He's a super, super guy. But yeah, and then everybody was on the show. I can't remember the entire card top of my head, of course, but everybody, great show. I had a lot of fun calling it with Jeff and Matt, those scumbags. I have to keep kayfabe alive here.
Right.
But they had a great time calling it with those guys. So we'll do it all over again this Saturday in Bluefield at the Salvation Army. Roscoe tells me that it's up behind Hardy's there on that road. You turn up at the Hardy's and go up there and you'll find the Salvation Army in Bluefield. And we hope to see y'all there and have a good time. Come by, talk to us, tell us how everything's going for you, all that good stuff. Another place you can find us periodically is on the Arson Brothers Network.
Arson Brothers, Too Sweet.
Yeah, Too Sweet. But we were both, I guess our official titles were Arson Cousins.
Right.
But that's okay. We're members of the family. I just actually put a video up on the network from the trip this past weekend in Morgantown. Had some footage from inside of the stadium there that I shared over there. But you never know what you'll see over there. The guys do all kinds of great stuff. Last weekend they had some killer footage from they had football weekend down at the compound.
Right.
And so lots of cool stuff there. You got to see one Michael Sizemore wear some West Virginia gear for a bet he lost, and that was actually my profile picture on Facebook all week. So
I was wondering how you gained all that weight and got bald all of a sudden.
I know, it was crazy, and got Russian.
Yeah.
What's up with that? But anyway, so there was that, and then of course you never know what you're going to see on there. They have all kinds of different types of shows. But hopefully in the near future, my other tag partner Jeff and I will be throwing out a hot tag again soon. That's a show on there that we have a lot of fun doing. So you just never know what you're going to see. So be sure to check out the Arson Brothers on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, anywhere you can, any on all those social media platforms. And speaking of social media, Roscoe, where can people find you if they want to get a hold of you?
I am on Facebook as Roscoe Rooster. I'm on Twitter with Roscoe P. Race. It looks like Roscoe Praise.
And he does.
Yeah, do that a lot. And Snapchat, I think it's Roscoe.Rooster. And I do have an Instagram, but I can't think what that is right off the hand. I don't get on Instagram that much.
Well, you can find me on Instagram, and if you can see the people I follow, you'll find him there.
That's right. There you go.
You can find me, of course, my shoot name, Sean Allen, on Facebook. You can also find me at Professor Waldo. That's Professor_Waldo on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat. Find me there. We'd love to hear from you. We'll be and also be sure to start searching for the page where it'll be something similar to Roosters with Attitude podcast on Facebook. We'll have a page there. We'll probably end up on all the other social media platforms too eventually as we grow this thing. But if there's something you'd like to hear us talk about, something you'd want to know our thoughts on, get a hold of us at one of those ways and let us know. We plan in the future we'll possibly have guests. We're getting all the technical stuff worked out now to be able to have people call in and talk to us and all that sort of thing. So look for that in the near future. Who knows? Maybe we'll be the 75th place the Joey Morton biography's told. Who knows? I mean,
oh man, that would be wild.
I hope so, because I just know the world wants to hear Joey and I argue for about 2 hours. Everybody wants to hear that.
Do I have to show up for that?
Oh, no. Well, somebody has to referee. So.
That's right.
And we know Cody Green can't. So
and Cody couldn't, and I've already heard the stories Friday. So
well, there you go. All right. Well, brother, anything else we need to hit on here before we sign off?
I think we did pretty good for our first one.
All right. Well, if you're listening, we appreciate you. Please tell others. We'd love to have you. And hopefully round 2 will be in a couple of weeks, and we'll have more information on how to get a hold of us, where you can find more shows, all that sort of thing. And so until next time, he's Roscoe.
Roscoe Rooster.
And I'm Waldo, and we will catch you soon.
I'm not reporting live.